Is it okay to teach your children about imaginary characters and to believe in them?
You really, really, really wanted to go meet Santa and sit on Santa's lap and tell Santa everything you wanted for Christmas, and we said no. And I agonized over that for the longest time. I am working my butt off to buy all this stuff for Christmas. I'm not giving nobody else the credit.
Fair. I remember, getting excited, thinking about Santa Claus. Like, those were fun times.
Our children definitely need to have some things that are just fun to believe in.
Let kids be kids, feed into it. It's okay.
You and I are kind of similar. You may even be more good-hearted than me. I feel like you. Well,
but in our longing hearts, we're all the same.
Mutual respect and
yes.
A boundary might have been crossed
yes.
right?
That's
so
right.
Just an example it is a great example. I appreciate that for giving me the example to even quote it.
Let's be the change we want to see.
I've never seen differences negative. I've always been attracted to and intrigued by it. But we're looking for how are we similar? How are we the same? How can we all just get along?
We are links in a chain. Unimportant.
Hey, hey, hey.
What up? What's poppin'?
It's working it out across generations. And I am one of your hosts, Dr. Lynn.
I'm Justin.
And the show is about all things conflict. We talk about the everyday to the big experiences and try to give you some wisdom around ways in which you can look at conflict and also resolve it. Every week, it's a really good episode, and this week is no different. So I'm gonna let Justin tell you what it's about in a minute. But first, we gotta tell you what we're up to that's new for you. Mm-hmm. I think you've heard us talk about the fact that we are going to be having a parenting workshop, and it is about talking with your tweens and teens. How do you get them to talk to you? Mm-hmm. So if you are a parent or a guardian or a caregiver and you really want to have conversations, this is the workshop for you. If you're feeling like there's a lot of tension, it gets quickly tense with your tween or teen, this is the workshop for you. If you're tired of walking on eggshells because you want to say the right thing, but then you're afraid they're going to pop off, this is the workshop for you. If you want your child to stay open to hearing what you have to say, but then you also want to stay open, this is the workshop for you. And what makes it extra special is that both of us are doing it together.
Yeah. For sure. It's going to be a good time. Come rock out with us. Come get some skills. We offer a whole bunch of things like this, and so more to come, but this is where we're starting out. So please sign up if you're interested. We got some cool stuff going on over there.
You'll see the link and the QR code. Hit it now. Sign up. May 28th is going to be an evening workshop, and May 31st is going to be in the afternoon. We got something for everybody.
Yes, sir.
So now, what are we talking about today, Justin?
Cool. I think today is an interesting one. We're keeping it light today. We bring a lot of deep topics, a lot of real topics, right? But I think today, we just wanted to start it off with, is it okay to teach your children about imaginary characters and to believe in them, right? I think this came out of just thinking about, the role that, Santa Claus and the Easter Bunny and, the Tooth Fairy play in society. And, I think there's been a real shift in the way in which people go about introducing those characters or those topics.
Or not.
Right? And so just really wanted to explore that a little bit. You know, talk about our personal experiences and then the shift and change.
Yeah, because I think that's where it started to come out. I mean, we have great conversations. And so it started out of a conversation that I asked you, if you remember, I'm like, do you remember that you really, really, really wanted to go meet Santa and sit on Santa's lap and tell Santa everything you wanted for Christmas? And we said no. And you said you didn't remember.
I didn't.
And I agonized over that for the longest time. Like, oh my gosh, he really wanted to do it. What was the harm? I should have just let him. And now I know it was okay not to let you do that. But it's an interesting thing because I grew up, my sister and I, we grew up with Santa. We absolutely believed in Santa, Tooth Fairy, and the Easter Bunny. Like, we believed all of that stuff because our parents really taught us to believe those things. But by the time I became a mom, I just thought, particularly with the Santa thing, I am working my butt off to buy all this stuff for Christmas. I'm not giving nobody else the credit.
Fair.
That's just fair. No. That is not going to happen on my watch.
Especially an imaginary character. Like, right. That makes sense. I think that makes a lot of sense.
Right. Look, you bought my kid a present. You a real person. I'm going to give you that credit. I'm not going to take your name off and then say it's from me. But not sometimes. No, it wasn't gonna happen. So there was no need to go and sit on anybody's lap anyway, grown man's lap. You ain't need to do that anyway. So that just wasn't.
A lot of kids hate those pictures too, by the way.
That's right.
Like, they must feel the energy of these Santas, and they're just like, I don't rock with this. Like, I don't bang with this.
Not to mention the pressure it puts on parents to get the stuff, right? You already told this Santa that you want all this stuff, you know, and told them, probably lied, told them you've been good, but.
Yeah, some of these bad kids still end up on the good list. I ain't gonna lie.
But, you know, and that's just one example.
Right.
People have, all different cultures have different people. But is there really harm to it, do you think? Or is there good to it, Justin?
I think it was okay for me, personally.
Mm-hmm.
I remember, you know, getting excited, thinking about Santa Claus, you know, getting the cookies out and leaving them out and stuff like that. And you know, that was just a fun time. Like, those were fun times. And, you know, I think in the back of my mind, though, even as a kid, I always knew, like, these are mythical creatures. Like, they're not, these are not real people. Like,
right.
I think
the Tooth Fairy, too? You thought so?
So I definitely thought at first that the Tooth Fairy was real. I'm not gonna lie. That's
Me too.
That's a
Definitely
bar 100%. Like, I definitely thought the Tooth Fairy was real at first because it's just like, no money under the pillow. Wake up, I got money under the pillow. Tooth's gone. I'm like, damn, that's magical, 100%, right? But I think I was so early influenced by media and by TV and by movies and things like that. So I was always brought back to reality in a way, even as far as my mind could dream and could go. And, you know, I had parents who definitely supported the fact that, you know, I was like just a dreamer, you know, like, you know, every kid should want to say like, you know, oh, I want to be this, or I want to be that when I grow up, right? Like, that's something that, like, you know, you want to feed. So I'm grateful that I had that with my parents. Because when I found out, I feel like when I found out that they weren't real, it wasn't like as heartbreaking. Oh, okay. And it didn't really, that's not what really messed with my sense of believing in something that's not exactly tangible.
Right.
So I think it helped me personally. I understand. I love and respect your opinion about, you know, you bought the gift. Why the hell am I giving Santa the gift?
And then have to buy the cookies to put out too, or make the cookies to get in.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense.
That ain't working.
That makes a lot of sense. We didn't have a chimney, so you might have had to let Santa in. You know, we live in an apartment.
I mean, why you even believe in the story, kids, and then no chimney? I'm sorry, I don't want to break any hearts. I think it's really important for our children to be children for as long as they can be, especially these days. They have to grow up so quickly just to survive. No matter how much you try to shelter them, the world is just coming for them at much younger ages. Yeah. So I really appreciate that children really need to have childhood, and you need to stoke their imaginations and really nurture them. I was very imaginative. I'm still very imaginative.
Yeah, you are.
I really
Yeah,
am.
you
I
are.
mean, hey, there's nothing wrong with me, but I could have an imaginary friend at this point in my life. At this point, it really wouldn't bother me at all. I mean,
That's an interesting one.
I could.
I mean,
somebody else to talk.
That's an interesting one. I feel like that might be more layered than for a child, but that's an interesting one.
But I understand. And I understand that if it was a tradition for your family,
for sure.
right? Because that's the other thing. When you become parents, caregivers, right, raising children, there are other people involved.
Yeah,
and it can
100%.
be very disappointing if there's grandparents and elders who really look forward to the kind of delight that children have in believing in these imaginary people, and then you kind of snatch the rug and say, no, we're not doing that.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Unless you decide that they can do it and you just won't. I don't know. I think everybody's going to make their own decisions on that, but I understand. I think that our children definitely need to have some things that are just fun to believe in, but I'm thinking that's what AI is for. No, I don't know. I mean, you got all these AI characters now that people are getting way too attached to. So I don't know how that's any better than having these imaginary things, imaginary creatures, or whatever they are. I know that there's a problem for people around religion, and like for Easter, and you're talking about the Easter bunny, and that really takes away. And even with Christmas, for those who celebrate Christmas, you talk about that's supposed to be a religious holiday, and then you've turned it over to this Santa Claus character or whatever. And so I understand that. I just think it's an interesting thing as to whether or not people are really sticking with teaching their kids about these imaginary people, because I know for me, it was definitely real, and it was real for a long time.
Yeah.
And my parents actually started getting worried about me because I just had imaginary people in my life for a very long time, and I can remember them sitting in the living room, and I had to do dishes, and I hated doing dishes. So I had to do something that would make it go along faster and better. And so I had an imaginary friend who always did dishes with me, and they'd be in the living room hearing me talking. And they're like, who is she talking to? I'm like, I'm telling my imaginary friend that they need to pay me more to be washing dishes.
Damn, I love that. I think that's hilarious. Now, I think that's interesting for sure. If you tried that now, I think that'd be hilarious.
I still
but that's
talk to
interesting.
myself. If I don't talk to me, who else will?
I mean,
right?
Wayne said it, talking to myself because I am my best consultant.
Yes,
So that's like, that's a
absolutely.
bar. Like,
Absolutely.
I respect the hell out of that.
Absolutely.
So I'm not, I'm totally joking around, but also there's some truth to every joke. So,
So what do you think? Because you're not a parent yet. What are you thinking?
I mean, like about what I would tell my
Whether
kids.
you would, yeah.
I mean, yeah, bro. Let's believe in it. Let's do the things around it.
Okay.
I got to do all those things. There was a time period where I got to do all those things. So I think I'm definitely gonna, bake cookies with my kids, for Santa, and we're gonna leave them
So
out.
I guess I can't say nothing then. I'm gonna have to go along with the Santa thing.
And if you can't, you have to stay your ass home. I ain't gonna lie. We'll come to you next Christmas, and we'll do however you want to do it. But for that year, yeah.
Hey,
I mean,
I'm not gonna ruin the fun. If that's how you're gonna do it, that's how
I
you're
think
gonna
that's
do
fun.
it.
I think it's fun. I had a lot of fun as a kid with the Easter Bunny and the egg hunts and eating a bunch of chocolate and stuff. Obviously, there's so much more to these days and these characters, right? They really are symbols, right? But I feel like just the theatrics of it all around these things, like I absolutely loved, right? And so, but again, though, I think I'm grateful for the fact that my parents were about balance in pretty much every aspect of my life. So it's not that my beliefs were ever turned down or I was told to turn them down. But it did get to a point where it was just like, all right, bro, like let's have a real conversation. Like
Right.
you're 11 or 12, and like it's my money that I'm putting under your pillow. You know what I mean? Like that's not coming from a creature that, comes through your window in the middle of the night and stuff. Plus,
I think you were younger than that because your brother's 6 years older. So
well, even then, I'm just throwing out an age. But even then, I was also like, the kid that would stay up all the time. So I don't know why I believed this stuff all the time or as deep as I did, because I was up and out like all hours of the night. So I don't really know. Like I would have thought I would see Santa at some point.
You would have thought, but you didn't.
So
because it did not exist.
But the theatrics around it, I really appreciated.
But what do y'all think? We definitely want to hear from you. We want to know what you're thinking about what you're doing with the children in your life, or if you're thinking that you may have them down the line. What do you think? Do our kids need to have more imaginary time? I think that there are different ways to really get your children to be imaginative. It's interesting that all of these things, these imaginary characters, end up costing the adults money. The Tooth Fairy. I used to get a quarter, and you all got dollars.
I would be livid if I got a quarter.
I was happy when I got a quarter.
Good for you.
Because the tooth was gone. And I think that there are ways for children to get through things, to enjoy things.
Yeah.
And so these characters get made up. But also, does it feel like pressure that you have to teach your children about these things? I think that's part of it, because I think it's great for us to include imaginary characters, friends in our kids, so that they have the imagination flourishing. But is it really okay to do it just because society has set up these particular characters? That feels like a tremendous amount of pressure. And like I said, interestingly enough, each of those characters requires money. You got to fill the basket. Oh, we used to go really like full on filling y'all's baskets with all of these different things. And my sister's really big on this stuff. So I had that pressure.
Shout out, Auntie.
Like, we need to get this, that, and the other. And I'm just like, can we just get them a big old chocolate bunny and call it a day?
Either could have worked. We always got more than that, but either would have worked for me.
But anyway, I think it's interesting that this is still happening, that people are still going along with these things, and I just wonder, is it because there is still a tremendous amount of pressure to raise your children with these things? So
where's the pressure you're talking about coming from? Is it coming from other parents who might judge you,
or their other kids, right? If the other kids, your kids in daycare, because right, they're little. Your kids in daycare, and then the daycare teacher says, how many of you are being good? Because Christmas is coming up and you don't want to be naughty. So what's your kid supposed to do? Go, hey, my parents already told me there is no Santa, in front of all of the kids? No. That's pressure. Yeah. That's pressure. So, you really do. And at 3, that's what they're going to say. You're not going to sit your kid down at 3 and say, listen, all these other kids are going to believe in Santa, but I'm just telling you right now, we buy the gifts, so there is no Santa. You're not going to do that. And even if you believe that, even if you feel like, I really don't want to raise my child like this, chances are you're not going to do that. You're going to let your child believe what other people believe, because that's what the majority are doing. And even as they progress, there are just certain things. Nobody really, when I was growing up, nobody had a problem with the characters. So it took a while before I knew that there wasn't like a Santa or an Easter Bunny or the Tooth Fairy.
When did you find out?
Was heartbreaking. I don't know. I don't remember the age. It wasn't a big deal, though. It wasn't a big deal.
Yeah, it wasn't huge for me. Mm-hmm. Again, the balance, right? Like, yeah, I might have had like an imaginary friend at some point. I was big into toys. So like if I had a toy of something, right? Like that was my like
Right, you would talk
connection,
to
like
it
something
or
physical.
what's-
Yeah, I mean I'd hug
yeah.
it, like I, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
Like,
that's true. I mean,
stuff
I
like
think
that,
a lot of
right?
kids are into that.
But I
didn't
got
need
a
the toy.
balance of socializing with literal people too. So like, you know, I feel
That's
like
true.
as long as you keep a balance with literally anything in life, you find that cadence for yourself, but keep a balance, and I think
Yeah.
it's not a big deal. But I think you do have to have a real difficult conversation at some point to say, you know, yeah, sorry, bro, this is all coming from us. Like, you know, I don't mean to crush you, but you know, that's coming from us. I definitely struggled hearing about the tooth fairy more than like anything else.
Yeah. I mean, because when you're younger, you lose teeth, right? So
Yeah.
it's a way of making you feel better about the pain, the loss, or whatever. You get money. Yeah. Okay. Who thought that one up? Always costing us some kind of money. But anyway, there's benefits to it. And there are reasons to tell the truth. So we're going to talk about some benefits.
Yeah, I think the first one that I came up with here was imagination is a good seed to plant in your children. I think, you know, there are plenty of opportunities, unfortunately, in the world that we live in for your spark to go out, for your ability to dream to get depleted, for your belief in humanity to get tested, right? All those things. I feel like those are guaranteed inevitables, you know what I mean? Like it's just, it's gonna come, it's gonna happen.
Yeah.
And so I think if you know, plant that seed as early as possible, you know, again, balance accordingly, right? Figure that out for yourselves and for your own family dynamic and personalities that make up that family. But, you know, you achieve that balance. And I feel like when things get dark, when things get tough, when things get, you know, not as linear as you'd hope or want, you know, the fact that you were able to believe in these things, you know, is a good thing to come home to and return to when it's really tough. So I think it's just is one of those things that it's a good seed where if you water it and you water it well and you're smart about it, it'll trickle into every aspect of your life.
Yeah, I mean, every child isn't super imaginative.
True.
Like really, really imaginative. So I could see definitely you wanting to spark that in a child that's not, because childhood, as I said, is just too short these days. So I think it's important for the imagination to be developed and nurtured, because as you said, it gets crushed pretty quickly in life these days. So what's wrong with letting them have some imaginary characters that keep it alive from year to year to year?
Yeah, 100%. Next, I would say the theatrics around these holidays are fun. You know what I mean? I had a lot of fun with the you know, everything around that made these holidays. The fact that, you know, the season of that holiday was coming up, right? And I think, you know, just the lighting, the candy, right? It's just, everything's bright. Everything is, you know, just colorful and fun. And, you know, I think that's okay, right? I think it's okay to enjoy that. It's okay to name the things that make you happy, that make you fun, that make you, you know, all those things. And I feel like, you know, I understand that that's the reason as to why across generations, you know, it keeps going, right? It's the fun around it, the connectivity, right? To say like, we've been doing this for years, right? You know, your grandpa did this, your grandma did this, you know, whatever, right? There's a certain level of just connectivity that comes with that, whether those people, you know, are here or not, right? And so I just think, you know, the way that these holidays bring people together, the collective belief and or even if different beliefs are in the room. There was at one point where everyone did believe in their life, so that's always something to come home to. I just think the opportunities for connectivity are endless. Holidays come around, so that's probably my favorite part.
Yeah, I mean, I agree. The theatrics are really a lot
Yeah,
of
bro,
fun,
I
especially
had
when
fun.
you're a kid,
I
right?
had fun. Easter was, oh my God, so much fun when we were growing up.
We did. I mean, we just did a lot of those things growing up, and I enjoyed the fun things about each of these particular characters. You're right, lots of colors and, you know, and candy. Kids love candy, whether you think it's bad for them or not. You know, they love it. Who doesn't love getting presents and thinking that, connecting behavior to presents is an interesting thing as well. I mean, it's all, if I think about it, it's all capitalism, if you ask me, but okay, right? We gotta connect. I mean, because everything is connected to some kind of spending of money, but it's also connected to fun, as you said. And there's nothing wrong with kids looking forward to some fun things that are set up specifically for them. Great opportunities for pictures and videos.
Yeah, lasting memories,
yes,
for
that's
sure.
right. Those lasting memories. And
For
then,
sure.
as you said, the grandparents or the elders who are in the life who've been really waiting to see, this time for the particular, if it's Christmas or if it's Easter or if it's the Tooth Fairy, they want to leave the money to. I mean, and again, these are the ones we grew up with. We know there are many more holidays and traditions and imaginary characters out there. So
If anything, name them for us,
yeah,
please.
that's right. Let us know. Educate
different
us
experience.
on who you grew up with and what you believed around that, who they were. But I think you're right. The fun, the opportunity for fun is endless in these things.
For sure. And then lastly, I would say, traditions are something to look forward to, right? I think, just like I said, as far as, the intergenerational part of it, right? Like, that's exactly why they exist, right? To keep it going, to keep it something to look forward to,
Right.
Again, to, be excited for those opportunities to connect, to make memories, right? And like I said, I think that's exactly what these holidays were created for, right? On top of, probably generating some dollars, considering, every one of these, it does cost money, right? Yes, that obviously was a part of the plan. But I think on a deeper level, if you go there, right, I think it is really about, just something to look forward to, something on a calendar that's there, that, you can't miss, or, you can if you want, but it's at least going to be in the air, that day.
Right.
So, I just think, something to look forward to. It's a really beautiful thing to continue. That's why we see it across generations.
Yeah, I agree. I love traditions. I think that
me
they
too.
definitely are special. And for me, hopefully I'll be a grandmother someday. And I'm not pressuring nobody. I'm just saying, hopefully that will happen. And I'll go along with the traditions, because it is a tradition. I'm good with that. I think the benefits too also are traditions can be passed down.
Yeah,
So
for sure.
So why ruin the fun?
For sure.
Just if that's what you want to do, then do that and let everybody participate in that and be okay with it. I mean, look, I have to say that both your dad and your nana were not real big on some of this stuff.
Ridiculous.
And they still, went along
Yes,
with it.
100%.
Or they were silent.
They're not here to represent themselves.
not
So
here to represent themselves.
shout out y'all. We love y'all. We miss y'all. But absolutely, that was something they absolutely thought was ridiculous.
Yeah.
Like the theatrics around
They
some of
really
these
did not
traditions, they
like
were just
that.
like, what? Like,
But I loved it.
The most my dad probably wanted to do was just like cook the food. That
Yeah,
was like for
that
that,
was
which he
about
did
it.
good at.
He
But
did great,
that's like
yes.
the most he wanted to do.
Right, but he was
So-
ready to spill. He was ready to spill those secrets. None of this exists.
That's evil. Yeah, being happy to spill it. That's actually crazy as hell. Oh my gosh.
Okay, but let's talk about that, right? Like 3 reasons to tell your kids the truth, because truth is truth, right?
It's true. Yeah, I mean, just being excited though.
The first thing I'm gonna say is they can handle it. I know that it is. I guess it depends on the age too, because again, there is so much pressure to buy into these things, to really keep telling the tales behind them, and so telling your kids. Sometimes it could be that they can't handle it, but most of them, they can handle it if you decide, look, we're just not going along with these traditions. And you can say, as a family, there's plenty of families that actually do believe, right? But we don't. We know
Yeah.
that these are imaginary characters, and so we are not going to do this. And hey, take my own example, right? Even though I did agonize that maybe I did the wrong thing by not letting you go and sit on Santa's lap and meet Santa and all that stuff. but it didn't harm you.
You guys were not, you didn't lie about Santa exactly. They were the type to be like, oh, like, why do you want to go sit on that Santa? Like, Santa's black or whatever. I'm like, well, that's interesting.
But you didn't go see it either.
No, it didn't conflict my ability to believe. It was just like, I don't see a black Santa anywhere. So like, I just want to go with the Santa that I know. And they're like, no, Santa's black. Santa's one of us. I'm like,
I did not say Santa's black.
Boy,
I said if we gonna go see
we
a
had a
black
black
one.
angel
But we
on
didn't
our-
go see any of them because Santa wasn't something I wanted to get into.
Man, God is watching.
Because
Cut that out. We had a black
Be-
angel on top of our tree.
That's
every
right,
year.
we did,
So
because I
my family
believe in
clearly
angels.
was trying to push an agenda that Santa was black, and that just is not. That's not true.
I did not see it that way, y'all.
That's just
I
not
was
true.
not giving
Man.
anybody else credit for the money I was spending. No, absolutely not. However, yes.
Please. You know what's funny? You tell someone your experience of them at a certain time, and they still can't get with the fact that that was them that you're talking
Okay, so
about.
that was your experience.
Y'all literally
You're
were telling
right.
us all the time these characters are not white characters. Like, so I'm like, all right. I mean,
A bunny is a
that's
bunny.
cool.
The fairy
That's
could
true.
be anybody. The Santa, yeah.
No, they said Santa was black. They let the tooth fairy be whoever.
However, I
Don't let her
was
fool you.
negating Santa, period. Because as I said,
that's true.
number one, we didn't have a chimney. No, that was number one. Number two, we didn't have a chimney. Number one, my hard-earned that money. Your dad's hard-earned money. You are going to give us credit for the gifts. Anyway, let's go on to reason number two. If it conflicts with your beliefs and your morals, I mean, because basically you're lying to your kids, right? You're basically lying, telling them that this person exists. Again, it's a lie for a good reason. It's a lie around tradition. It's a lie around helping them to be more creative and imaginative. But you're basically lying. So if you don't want to do that, if you feel like it's important to actually tell the truth or to say, like I said, if the particular character is attached to a particular religion, right? And then you say, but that's really not the truth about why we are celebrating. It's okay. It's okay to do that because you want to be in truth to your children as much as possible.
Yeah, I'm all about, respecting people's beliefs and, culture and religion, right? So if it doesn't fit in how you do things, right, then, it just doesn't fit, and that's totally cool. So I don't have too much pushback on that. I think it really just depends on the family. It depends, situation by situation. It's not a one-size-fit-all approach, to these holidays. And so however you do it, that's however you do it. However you don't do it is however you don't do it, right? Just I would hope that, there's other ways or other traditions that are, fun and like lighthearted that fill, I guess, that place. So that's all I would say. And please, again, hit us up. Let us know what your experience was like, growing up with these holidays, with these characters. What did it do for your belief system? What does that look like, feel like? What's the role that these characters played in that? Because I don't think it's exactly, like, it is lying as far as, like, where you take it. But right. I think, like, as you say, like, you're lying for a good reason. I think planting the seed of, believing in something that you maybe can't always touch, see, all those things. I think that's really important.
Yeah.
So I feel like that's, that's not the lie. We know that, but
right.
And how far you take it, that's up to you, and that's an indicator of your upbringing and things like that. So if this isn't it, that's totally cool. I would just hope that there's something else that you have, and if there is, just let me know what that is.
Yeah, well, I mean, so reason number 3 is there are other ways to stir their imagination.
For sure.
So if you decide that this isn't something that you want to participate in, these traditions, these making up these stories around these imaginary characters for your children, then hey, that's okay because you can do other things as long as you do other things, though. I don't think that children have to be grown-ups.
No.
Right?
No.
I think that
They
they
gotta be
can be
kids.
children, and I think that you can help them to imagine things through books, whether they're listening, whether you're reading to them. You can help them imagine things by acting things out, by putting them into classes that are like art or drama or music. That helps stir the imagination as well. I used to, just do acting out things like we were going on a trip and we'd imagine being in a plane or climbing a mountain or all of those things that do stir the imagination. So if you prefer not to stir the imagination in this way of the imaginary characters, there's other things you can do.
Yeah, 100%. That speaks to the point I just made. So,
All right. Okay, so again, we want to hear what it is that you think, right? So you can reach us at Working It Out Across the Generations at e360tvlive.com. And if you don't want to do that, then you certainly can keep tuning in, thinking about the things that we are bringing up, but also just really write us on YouTube, because when you watch us on YouTube, you can comment, let us know what you think there as well. But absolutely think about what it is that it is best for you to do in terms of your children, the children in your life, and how do you keep them children for as long as possible using their imaginations. And if the imaginary characters are your thing, go for it. I say if you're going to go for it full out.
Yeah,
right?
for sure.
Make
For
sure
sure.
that everybody enjoys the
For sure.
experience.
For sure. Because there's people that throw like Easter parties and, a whole thing.
Yep, or get friends to dress up
Yep.
as Santa and
Yep.
right, those kinds of things. And hey, like I said, go for it full out. Have fun with it if that's what you want to do, because children are only children for a really short period of time, and you might as well enjoy if this is what you're going to enjoy. Now, if it's causing conflict between you and the other adults in your lives, then really use some skills to sit down and have the conversation. You don't have to just say, well, that's too bad, this is what we're doing. You can have conversation around why this is what you're doing and what they want to do about their participation in it. Because your nana and your dad always participated, but they were always clear with me what they thought about the different traditions that
And like voice those opinions, but get with the program. Like, why are you being a Scrooge? Like, what? I mean, use your skills, but also like get the hell over it. Like, I mean, you should want your kids to be kids, and I feel like this is one of the most prime ways, early on to really exercise those muscles, right? And so I think, sure, use skills, have a conversation. I'm all for, all that.
But you are going to have to get with the program.
And get with the program. Like, it's not a like, oh, I'm voicing this, so we're not doing it this year. Like, maybe it's a money thing. You may not have the finances, whatever it is. But even then they could be like, all right, I got you a little chocolate bunny, right? Or something like that. And you put it in an egg, right? Like, kids are so simple. Like, they're really just sponges to everything that you do. So I feel like, as long as you're exercising those muscles and planting those seeds and watering them, that, they really want to enjoy their kid years. Because I think that time in which kids are growing up and that age in which kids are growing up is only getting smaller. I grew up in New York City, and I know, like, I was looking back, it's always easier to look back, right, in hindsight. But, you know, I feel like I grew up even sooner than when I say I grew up, right? And so...
Most kids are today.
Exactly. So let kids be kids, you know, feed into it. It's okay. That conversation, unfortunately, is also inevitable where you got to tell the truth about it. So let it ride out as long as it happens, because I think people, you know, naturally fade off from things for a while too, right? So, yeah, man, that's my thing. I think just let the kids be kids and rock out.
If you don't rock with it, then at least don't break their hearts about it and tell them this is ridiculous and ridicule it, but have that conversation.
If you don't do it, you got to find something else. That's the point.
Agreed.
You need it. So, like, yes, absolutely. Okay. And if this is not the way that you're going to strike imagination, strike belief in something else, right? Sure even if you're not the most religious family, I think that you have to find another way to exercise those muscles. Your kids need to have these seeds planted as early as possible, because I'm telling you, it just, even the access to water to plant your seeds gets harder later on sometimes.
That's right.
So let that ride out. But this was interesting. I feel like, you know, I got to revisit a lot of, you know, my childhood thinking about this episode when we were coming up with it and talking about it right now. You know, I get to think about what I'm going to do in the future with my children. You know, God willing, I get to have children. If that's in the plan, if that's in the books, if that's in the budget one day. Jesus Christ. Found out what it would cost to even have a baby, like in a hospital. And I'm like, Jesus Christ, there's a fee for them to take the baby away, which is crazy. To like
that's
care
another
for it
show.
and stuff.
That's another show. Okay.
I'm gonna say whatever the hell I need to say. I don't know where we get this idea that
Lord.
I'm not gonna say what needs to be said on my end. I'm gonna say what I gotta say.
True.
So
okay, that's why it's called working it out across generations, because you gotta have something to work out. So.
All right, now I'm gonna wrap this up. So
yes,
if you want to like, follow, subscribe, comment, all pieces of engagement truly means the world to us. We are about small is all. We are trying to build to something that is bigger than us, and you guys literally help us do that. So thank you so much. Keep engaging with us. Keep subscribing. Keep liking. Keep hitting us up. You know what I mean? You got the email, right? So hit us up. Send us some topics you want to talk about. Send us anything that you're feeling about, you know, the things that we've been visiting. You know, we really love engaging with y'all, and we love the way in which the show has been landing for some of y'all. We've you know, gotten to talk to some of y'all about, you know, how the show means to you. And so please, yes, keep engaging with us and me as a world.
And make sure, if you want to attend the parent workshops, that you hit the QR code or hit the link. You see it on the screen. Make sure you join us. We want to definitely see you there. And if you want to continue to check us out, then you can watch us on Roku, Amazon Fire, Samsung. Where else?
Wrap it up. You want to wrap up? Wrap the show up. You want to wrap up?
All right, I'm going to look for
wrap
it.
Wrap the damn show up.
Apple TV, LinkedIn, and E360 TV, Trajectory Channel. And hey, you know what we always say about conflict. That conflict is here to teach you something about yourself. So go out and find out what that is. I'm Dr. Lynn.
And I'm Justin.
And this is Working It Out Across Generations. Thanks for tuning in.
See you next week.
Let's be the change.